Hello everyone, it's your favourite annoying YouTuber here, and today I'm going to be playing an annoying deck which is going to be featured on the channel for some gameplay videos in the next couple of days, and that is going to be Blue Flare. Blue Flare is a deck that came out in BT10, and it feels like this deck just doesn't die. It feels like every time that it's been a little bit out of the meta, it always just comes back, and it's always stronger than ever, and that is no different from BT13, and it's not going to be any different when BT14 releases once the brand new Zudamon ACE comes out. And I think even in BT15 there's also a card that helps Machine Dramon but also supports this deck somehow. This deck just never dies, and so I'm going to be showcasing you my final build for BT13. If you're new to this channel, please do like and subscribe, and also follow me on Twitter or X. Why is it called X? Who knows? X marks the spot, and the spot is my Twitter account. Follow it for useless ramblings, if I'm being perfectly honest. Anyways, let's get straight into the deck profile. Going to start it off with obviously the 4 Gaussmon. This card is, you just have to play it. I mean, it's essentially a swing a security, and they get to search or slow your opponent down or add a resource back, which in all situations are very, very strong. So you do have to play 4 of this. It is that strong. Then we also have 4 of the, I guess, newer Gaussmon. This card is very interesting because it kind of plays around itself. If you play this card, you just get to draw 1 because I don't get it, but you do. But if you play a Twilight card, which is we only play 1 in this deck, you also get to return a card with Digicross requirements from your trash to the hand instead. Very, very strong card. The draw 1 is actually very important at times because sometimes you do brick with this deck, and just getting an additional draw 1 is very, very nice. And sometimes getting the Digicross requirement for relatively cheap is very, very nice. So just make sure that you know that it's on your turn, so if it gets played out through security, you also don't get the effect, so keep that in mind. We also just play 2 Madoki Betamon to round up the deck essentially. There are still decks out there that gain memory without tamer effects, and this helps in those situations because you want to slow down your opponent at least so you can get to your main plays, and sometimes it's not enough, and sometimes this card is redundant unfortunately because of stuff like Mirage Gal, but when it does come up it does matter quite a bit. So I play 2, and that is all the rookies. Obviously, Blue Flare is known for its level 4s, so let's talk about them. This is obviously Greymon. This is your main search for the deck. Reveal top 4, add 2 cards with Blue Flare traits in them to hand, and then place the rest of the bottom. And then if you have a Kyriar in play, you may return 1 Metal Greymon from your trash to your hand instead. That second effect is sometimes relevant. Sometimes you just don't have the Metal Grey, and sometimes it might get removed, so just getting a way or having a way to get it again is very, very important for the deck. And its inheritable is also pretty nice, but it's situational. If your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, unsuspend this Digimon. It's nice in certain situations, but for the most part that's not going to be very active, which is the reason why we play 3 of the Red Greymon. The reason why I play 3 of the Red Greymon is because the security attack +1 is always active, and in the BT10 Metal Greymon it just says Greymon, doesn't say Blue Greymon. So this becomes essentially your second or your first choice for digicrossing with that Metal Grey, because getting this and jamming just means you get 2 easy swings, and then you're able to unsuspend it potentially with the Z Grey. And yeah, it just does so much, so you play 3 of this as well. Let's talk about the male bird Dramons. Let's talk about the brand new one, which is going to be the EX4 one. Give one of your opponents when attacking lose 2 memory. Very nice. Has save obviously, and then also has jamming as inheritable. The jamming matters a lot, and when I mean a lot, I mean truly it does matter a lot. So having the jamming is definitely very, very nice. Essentially just allows you to combo it with this card, and then you can do a lot of damage in one given turn. And then we also play 3 of the older one. This is another stun card. If your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, you get to make one not attack or block until the end of your opponent's turn, which is very nice. And on play, it also has, if you have a Kiriha in play, you can return a Metal Greymon from your trashed hand. If you don't have one in play, you get to play one without paying its memory costs. So sometimes it might be a good idea to, when you swing with the Gaussmon, you play this guy. If you don't have the Searcher, for example, just to play the Tamer out for free. So very, very important for the deck. And yeah, so those are all the level 4s. We do not play Decadramon in this deck. Speaking of level 5s, let's go into the Metal Greymon. This is your main card of the deck, quite frankly. Material safe too, so if any of you guys, if you die, you can put 2 underneath the Tamer. It gains Rush to the turn, and then if Digicrossing, so it doesn't have to be for the full cost, it could be for only 1. 3 of your opponent's Digimon with Digivolution cards less than or equal to this Digimon cannot attack or block until the end of your opponent's turn. So essentially, this is a massive stun for your opponent, and then you're able to go for huge swings. You never Digivolve into this, but it is just the best level 5 you could be playing in the deck. And you play 4 of it, obviously, because if you don't, you're missing out, to say the least. We also have 2 of the Metal Greymon here as a backup. Unfortunately, this one does have the requirement of Blue Greymon, so you can't use the red one, unfortunately. This also gains Rush, and then if Digicrossing, so again, you can do it for 1 as well. You can trash up to 2 Digievolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. You can pick them. It doesn't say bottom or top. You can just pick them. So sometimes it's really nice to target out those like problematic inheritables. So for example, like Alphamon, getting rid of those Dorumons that give you a memory when you put something underneath. Very, very strong in those situations. So yeah, definitely you have to play 2 of it just because you need to have more Metal Greymons to play. But yeah, still does the job. And let's get on to level 6s. We have Zeeg Greymon. This is almost like a finisher for the deck. You get to unsuspend this Digimon when Digivolving, and then if this card of Blue Flare or Cross Heart in its traits has Digievolution in this Digievolution cards, and your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, gain 2 memory. So essentially for Metal Grey, this becomes you swing with that, then you go into this, your opponent has 2 Digimon in play, so you're able to restand and gain 2 memory, continue your turn. So this card is very, very strong. And the undulation effect is very nice. It saves itself, and then you can put or place 1 Blue Greymon, not red, so keep that in mind. And then 1 blue male Birdramon from your trash underneath one of your Tamers with General in its traits, so very important. Getting on to Tamers now, we go into 3 Kiriha Aonuma? I don't know. This is your set to 3 Tamer, and then this is your typical Digicross Tamer, which allows you to suspend it to use your cards underneath your Tamers as Digievolution cards for a Digicross. You play this because it is a name, and it also helps you Digicross from all your stuff. So for that reason, you do have to play 3 of it. But in my opinion, and from what I've been playing for Kiriha and Nene is definitely a stronger option. This card it's insane how much it does. If there are 2 or more Digimon in play at the start of your main phase, gain a memory, and it also has that Digicross effect, but you can also use one from trash. So if your guy was to be like bounced back to your hand, or de-digivolved or something like that, you have an access gateway essentially to getting those cards back, and for that reason this card is very, very strong. The additional 1 memory actually matters up quite a bit as well. Just gaining that additional memory sometimes is very, very important, allows you to go on a little bit more, so you play 4 of this. Now let's come on to the options. We have a lot of options in this deck. So starting off with an Ice Wall. We're a stun strategy, but we also have an aggressive way that we can win, obviously. This card is a staple in blue decks, in my opinion. Just making them lose 2 memory, or you gain 2 memory from a security. Game breaking sometimes, so you play 1 of it. Then we also play for Sorai. Sorai is, again, insane. Trash 4 Digi-Evolution cards from underneath one of your opponent's Digimon, and then all Digimon that don't have sources can't attack. It doesn't say attack players, it just says it just can't attack. So that is very, very strong. Stun strategy, as you strip the sources. Source stripping is very, very important in this deck. Yeah, playing it at 4 is very, very good. And it's also just a huge security bomb as well. We also play 4 Blazing Memory Boost. This is your, I guess, main searcher for the deck. As you reveal top 6, add 2 cards with Blue Flare, and then you're also able to play a Kiriha for free as well. And then delay, you gain 2 memory. So not only is it a memory boost, but it also just allows you to search, play a tamer, and then obviously you have the security effect of playing it out as well. So very, very strong for the deck. To round it all off, we play 2 Great Maelstrom. I think this is probably the best option that you could play. That is hard removal. Allows you to essentially return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of your owner's deck. Allows you to pick. Allows you to essentially make sure they don't get the card again in the game. And you're also able to reduce it if you put one of your blue Digimon at the bottom of your bottom of one of your own Digimon cards. So you can reduce it by 3. So it becomes a 6 cost removal. And that is very, very strong. I think I'd have to say that quite a bit, but it does everything you need to. Once they go into like a big stack, stuff like, you know, Greymon or, you know, Wargrey, Alphamon to a certain extent, all those cards, like this card is just a massive reset button, and sometimes you need that. And so you play 2 of this in the deck. Anyways, that has been my deck profile for Blue Flare. If I'm being perfectly honest, this deck doesn't need any more support if I'm just being honest about it. But it's going to get more support, so expect this deck a lot when you go to regionals and ultimate cups. My god, why is this still allowed in ultimate cups is beyond me. But yeah, this deck is going to be seeing a lot of play from now and even into BT14. So get used to it, I guess. If you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.